What's going on? If you don't know, like, subscribe, share. I'm gonna have plenty more videos coming, but this is just the video. This is part two of that Expedition Timing Chain 2012 5.43 valve. Now this was the main issue. So on these three valves, the oil pump sits in the motor like this. The crank goes through here, and the tube bolts up, two 8mm bolts going straight up into the oil pump. Now right here you can see, now originally when I took the valve cover off, I seen that the timing chain guide was broken, it was missing, so it had failed to the bottom of the engine into the oil pan. It was this lower guide, so you could see where the timing chain was rubbing right there, and then that chain runs like that to the crank. So it runs like that, and you can see where it was scraping on the oil pump. Now the oil pump didn't need to be replaced, but I'm going to replace it anyway because I'm already going through the whole process. But basically what happened with mine was, on these 5.4 timing chains, you have a bolt going into the block through the oil pump right there, and right there. Those are just regular bolts. But this hole right here, let me see. I was trying to find the old tensioner. That tensioner is just destroyed. But basically, you have a longer bolt that goes through the tensioner and through the oil pump and feeds into the block. So keep that in mind. You don't have to remove the oil pump to do the timing job, but the bolt that goes through that lower tensioner on the driver's side, lower guide, tensioner, however you want to say it, it's basically a guide because the tensioner is at the top, but that one that's at the bottom is just a guide. It goes through the guide, through the oil pump, into the block. So basically what happened with mine was, you see that? My bolt broke. So I removed the oil pump so I can have better access to that broken bolt in the block behind the oil pump. Because basically what happened is the bolt broke and it waddled until it finally waddled out of the hole. And if you can look at that, you can see the grooves in the oil pump where this bolt was just in there. Once it broke, it was just waddling out that hole on the oil pump. Until it finally fell out. Along with the tensioner got trashed, and the chain started to ride the oil pump, until it finally jumped time. So that driver's side actually jumped time. The passenger side was fine. That's the old chain. And I got the harmonic balancer bolt in there just to turn the crank. But that's the driver's side cam phaser. It was off. Sorry about the wind. But it was off a couple teeth. Now, I don't know if that was enough to bend a valve. I don't know if valves were hitting the pistons. When I was cranking the engine up and it was running rough, I didn't hear anything hitting. I didn't hear anything tapping. But the damage could have already been done. I don't know. But I'm going to put a new oil pump in it. I'm going to run some kind of either diesel or motor treatment through it. And then I'm going to change the oil with some good fresh oil, new oil filter, and that's if it cranks up and runs like it's supposed to. I'm replacing cam phasers, timing chain guides, timing chain tensioners, and new chains. And I'm just gonna hope for the best. I think the motor is still good. Um, it was smoking a little bit and it was running real rough. It was missing. It was basically missing on half of the engine. So if anything on the driver's side of the motor starts to hit, it should run better. If any cylinder starts to hit, so I didn't check the compression, so I don't have that information as far as like was it showing like low compression. I just already when I tackled this job, I just assumed cam phaser went bad, and once I start diving into it, it was actually the tensioner was broken, and then once I actually pulled the front cover and all that off and dived deeper into it, I realized, okay, this bolt was supposed to go through the oil pump. Bolt actually broke into the block. Now that's turned this into an even more extensive job. The timing has jumped to 2 for 2. Even if the actual teeth didn't jump with all that slack in the chain, it's still out of time. And that's the code that I was getting on the driver's side. It was throwing a cam sensor code, cam timing implausible. So if you're getting like an implausible cam code or something of that nature, 9 times out of 10 it's out of time or is not firing. So I just thought this was gonna be a driver side cam phaser only. I was just gonna replace the driver side cam phaser, put everything back on, and I thought it was gonna be good. But it's just turned into a deeper issue. Now, right there is where the oil pump bolts up, and that hole, that bottom hole, is where that bolt broke. I'm just giving you guys a visual of that front cover being off and that oil pump being off. If you're thinking about tackling this job, change the oil pump. The biggest difference with this, and for one, this is way different than an LS timing job. Because for one, an LS timing chain 9 times out of 10 never goes out. But you may want to swap a cam and you want to do the job. The cover is way smaller, way easier to get off. The only difference with that is you have to actually use a harmonic balancer puller to get the harmonic balancer off. But once you get that off, it's like easy. The hardest part is getting the actual harmonic balancer off of the LS. Now this one, getting the actual timing cover off is the hardest issue. The harmonic balancer wasn't bad. The bolt wasn't bad. The biggest issue with this was all the stuff you have to take off and remove to get the actual cover off, just to get to the bolts of the cover. So if you think about tackling this job, it's definitely a multiple day, multiple hour job. This isn't like something you're gonna do. And me, I really do it. I really do mechanic work. I really work on stuff, and I really do timing chains and all that. And if it's taking me multiple days, like somebody who doesn't have the mechanical incline, it's gonna take them probably a week. Unless they have like a super free schedule and they're super motivated, you can get it done in like a day or two. You can get it done in a day if you just have a full day, enclosed space. But see, if you can see, I'm working outside. I got everything going on outside, so and the temperature and rain and weather is fluctuating, so it's making it stretch out even longer. Like this isn't something you want to be doing in the rain. This isn't something you want to be doing in the super cold, because you're twisting your hands and trying to twist bolts and reach hard to reach places. And if it's like super cold, it's gonna wear on your fingers. Your fingers gonna get cold. Your hands gonna get cold. and it's gonna start to hurt. Like it's gonna hurt. Your wrenches, your ratchets, your tools are gonna be cold, and it's not something you want to be trying to tackle like in the super cold. Unless you like in like an enclosed space, you can put up like a heater or something like that, or you can have like a little small fire going. But back to it. That's the issue. That was my big issue. That boat broke inside the block, and right here, that's the other end of the boat. That's the other piece of the boat. But I got brand new oil pump, brand new phasers, brand new tensioners. I got brand new all that. Um, the biggest I'm gonna do another video just explaining like the hard stuff to get to and the easier way to get the stuff. But this is just a video of just like me in real time, like going through the job, diagnosing, running into issues. For people that's having issues with their 5.43 valve, if you're having issues, go ahead and get it done. Because I guarantee you, whoever had that truck, they were having certain stuff going wrong. They probably didn't change their oil. They probably were just topping the oil off. It wasn't at the correct level because there's barely any oil in it now. Make sure, like if you're having small issues with that engine, go ahead and get the work done or try to do the work yourself. If you're thinking that you're having time and chain issues, go ahead and start on it or try to or pay somebody, because it's going to turn into an issue like I have, which I didn't cause the issue. I bought the truck in that condition. But it's going to turn into an issue like that to where boats are going to start breaking, ports in the engine, oil passages are going to start getting clogged up. Oil pickup tube is going to get clogged up from pieces and parts that are breaking inside the engine, inside the timing chain. Like if you're having issues or you're hearing a noise or you're hearing something scrubbing or tapping, go ahead and tackle the issue, because it's going to turn into a catastrophic failure like mine's. It's inevitable, because that timing chain is moving at a fast RPM. It's a lot of pressure on it. And if it has any kind of slack in it, it's going to start slapping stuff. It's going to start slapping stuff. And that's probably what happened with mine. It starts slapping in, not slapping in, that's not a word, but it starts slapping that guide, slapping that guide with bad oil pressure until something got hot, etc. Boom. Boat waddles out, breaks, whatever. Now it's going from probably a slight slap to now it's really, really hitting. It's digging grooves into the block. It's digging grooves into the timing cover. The chain itself is taking damage. If you're hearing the noise, if you're seeing like the oil pressure not where it's supposed to be, or the truck starts misfiring, go ahead and tackle the job. Try to get it fixed, because you don't want to take that engine to a mechanic. I'm telling you, because 9 times out of 10, they're not even going to mess with that engine. They just gonna make you buy a $3,000-$4,000 engine, used engine, or low mile engine, and then they're gonna charge you even more to put it in. That's something you can tackle at the house. That's something you can tackle in the garage. That's something you can tackle in the driveway. Just go ahead and get it done, because people rag on Fords and the 5.43 valves, but that truck has 200,000 miles on it. Transmission still shifts good. It doesn't have any major leaks. That's a 200,000 mile truck. If that oil would have been changed properly, or timing chain replaced properly on time, or what, like just preventative maintenance, spark plugs changed, coil packs, oil treatment, that truck will probably still be running with no issues. So I love Fords. I love Chevys. Chevys are way simpler, way easier to work on. Fords are a little bit more to them, but I love 5.4s. I love Expeditions. I love F-150s. I love EcoBoost. So I'm kind of biased, but not really, because I know that these engines have issues. But I know if you have one, if you're changing oil every 6 months, change it every 3 months, because an oil change is cheaper than a catastrophic failure on your engine. I'm about to get back to work, and then I'll probably do another video, probably another update. This probably gonna be like a 4 or 5 video process, because it's so much damage and it's so much I'm uncovering. So if you want, if you're thinking about tackling this job, or you're in the middle of tackling this job, like, subscribe. The videos are gonna come fast. This isn't gonna be like a drop a video then a month later. I'm gonna be dropping these videos pretty quick. So like, subscribe, share, and I keep you guys updated.